time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah, hope I get away with it. Oh, da doo-dah day.
Well, thank you for being here, folks. While the intro was playing, my internet went nuts and almost lost connection. So there's either heavy weather coming up or I really need to seriously save up to get Starlink because the people I'm working with right now don't have their stuff together. In any case, I got to say thank you for being here to the only reason that this is not about to roll the end credits of the show right now. Richie's with me. So we are at least going to throw ourselves into the how can we follow stupid o'clock. Carl gonna be with us too. Okay, thank you for the mercy appearance, Uncle Carl.
I don't know how I'm still up, but I am. So
that's what Aunt Donna said after about 6 hours.
The yin to your yang went to bed early, so you're staying up late in her stead.
I guess. I don't know.
Oh, wait till she watches this tomorrow.
Yeah, I like your hat better.
Hey, that's a very nice hat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I only wear mine so you guys don't get blinded by the light.
That's all right.
Revved up like a deuce, another runner in the night.
Mm-hmm. And Thesis is with us in the
oh, cool,
in the audience. Oh bugger! I ought to send him a link. Whether or not he takes advantage of it is another thing coming.
Wow, what a show!
I know this was just absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Nick, if he fell asleep halfway or he got dragged away, but he disappeared, and then Donna disappeared, and it's like, okay, I know Dawn's probably going to tap out. It's killing everybody tonight.
Oh,
And after Rich's last joke, I had a little more whiskey than I should have. After that, wow. Between that and John playing with his Jesus.
His Jesus and his Woody on screen. And the fact that I ate my wife's taco on screen, too. Although technically it was mine in the first place because I'm the one that made them, but
there are people who would pay to see that. Not me, but people.
That's the problem with the world today. There are people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I cannot find these on my friends list, even though I know I friended him.
Do you need him to get an invite or something?
Yeah, I'd like to send him one, even though he might decline it. But evidently, his Facebook is under his civilian name, which I do not recognize yet.
Levi Jin or something like that. I'm probably butchering the last name. I apologize. L-I for the first name, and then the last one begins with a B. I think A-O then. And I can't remember the rest of the spelling. Not that I stalk him or anything like that. It's just he has some of the more interesting posts that are out there in the Historical Fencing Guild's Facebook groups.
Either I'm misspelling it or
it might also be like funky like letters too, because I want to say
oh yeah, he does use the leet speak.
I think that went through. I think that went through.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
I can't do any of the special characters on my keyboard either, so I'm like, okay.
Oh, he's working on editing a piece of music.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That's perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. I've been working on editing Aphelion since like noon today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You'll be so happy when you're retired, because you'll have some more time to spend on that and get another artist, maybe.
Especially now since the fellow that has been doing our covers for the last 10 years has stepped down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not only the de facto short story editor, I am now the cover artist.
Yeah.
And I've got to learn a whole new art program or decide, this is taking too long, and shift to one of the other 4 or 5 that I've got. Sunday's cover for Aphelion is not going to be the same quality as they have been for the last 10 years. That's my fault. I just...
hey, at least it's created by a human. So.
Oh yeah, that was the point.
As much as we like sci-fi, we don't particularly appreciate AI. Although I did see a halfway decent use for AI. They're trying to use AI to learn how to speak to animals. Okay, to try to figure out animal languages. Which could be very useful because I could ask my cat, "Why are you knocking over the water bowl?" What possible?
Because it's there.
Yeah.
AI has a ton of legitimate uses.
Yeah.
It's just more people are using it for the shit they shouldn't be using it for than what they are.
Right. Yeah.
So the firm is. Then for those who it's been a while and don't remember, I work for a law firm in IT. The firm is working on a couple of initiatives in our innovation department to work with generative AI.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, it's a wonderful thing, especially for like a legal document or something like that, where you're going to be recreating the same kind of thing over and over. But you have to be careful, especially with law, because with law, we can't go out and use Bard from Google or ChatGPT or something like that, because the stuff that we put into it is now going to be out there for the world to see.
Exactly.
And we might be using it to try to generate confidential information. So we have to use stuff that basically gets generated internally. Now, for AI art, good for it is to do a mock-up for you to have an idea of how you want something done so that you can show something to someone saying, I want it to look something like this. Can you do this? But the thing is, it still goes out there and it uses other people's art without their permission.
Yeah.
So if you source it ethically, and that's the problem, is too many things are not ethically sourced when it comes to AI. If you source it ethically, it's a beautiful thing.
Well,
they were careful in the usage and creative in it, which an AI can't do. It's like when I was doing ads for the Green Room. I take screenshots of this 1960s movie that nobody gives a shit about because it was a horrible movie. But I use screenshots of that and then put my own words behind it, to make it into my own meme. And that changes it enough to make it a parody. And people will understand that. And even the copyright holder will say, well, okay, I can't really complain about that.
You're not making any money off of it. You're not defaming anyone with it. You're not causing any type of hateful speech or anything like that. And it's a one still shot out of a larger work that you are transforming. So it is transformative. Right. Therefore, it falls fully under fair use.
Oh, yeah. And I would not do that with a modern movie or anything like that, I don't think. I mean, I look
again,
way out there.
Even if it is a modern movie, as long as it's a screenshot, just one small, you're not even talking about taking a 10-second clip, 30-second clip, anything like that.
Right.
One single image, you're still within fair use.
Yeah. True.
Cap, you've got some sound going on in the background that is just barely bleeding through.
Does it sound like a bad motor bearing?
A little bit, yep. You got an air conditioner going?
It's my mini split. Hold on, I'll shut it off.
I noticed that during the last show a little bit, but I wasn't sure where it was coming from, and I was like, okay.
Well, it didn't show up till Cap got here, and I go, okay, I don't have to eliminate all three of the other people in the room if I can just turn his microphone off for a second while he wasn't talking.
Yeah.
Yep. That got rid of it.
Well, I had my mic up too, so he was muted. But do you hear it now?
No, not a bit. Not a bit.
Yeah, it was in auto, and it was trying to run heat on high fan, so I just forced it to low fan.
Oh, okay. We don't want to freeze you or anything.
Nah, it's a good unit. It's a 6,000 BTU.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it'll handle this room easily. It's just trying to panic heat because its controller is a little bit.
Yeah.
Dodgy.
That's actually a Mr. Cool unit. Typically, they only last about a year or two. The thing's been running for 6 years now.
Wow. Cool.
Damn.
That's admirable, Basis.
Yeah.
If you can cut a countdown sequence down to about 10 seconds, that's better than a lot of people have been able to do so far.
Yeah.
Given that a lot of people use stuff they're not able to or willing to modify.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some folks that's been out there for quite a while, and they're not comfortable with doing um, graphics editing or clip editing,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't blame them. But you wish you didn't have a 5-minute countdown before the show starts. So.
Oh yeah, I've seen several live ones like that. I know they're just waiting for their audience to build up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, do that before, the 5 minutes before you're actually supposed to be there. Don't say, hey, everybody be here at 7 and then have a countdown because uh, you know. But I've seen some people though who need countdowns or they need an intro or something because they'll start the show and they'll cut themselves off because they haven't hit the go live button. So like they start in the middle of a sentence. I'm like, did I miss something or what?
Well, one thing I've noticed doing this is if I hit the go live button, and as soon as StreamYard says, you are live, and I hit the intro, it cuts off the first 30 to 40 seconds of the intro.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and I created something that plays before
Mm-hmm.
the intro.
Yeah.
And, because I created it myself, I own the copyright, so nobody should be able to unfairly give me a copyright strike for my own music.
Sure. Yeah, I used to
But
do
that
like
doesn't stop assholes from trying.
right.
No, it doesn't stop them from trying, but when you get back with StreamYard and you go, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
I copyrighted this
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Would you like to speak to my lawyer? They usually take the copyright strike right off right then, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a minefield out there now because everybody's trying to make some.
it really is.
You know?
It really is. It's like a couple of years ago when some Arab country was trying to copyright the Star Spangled Banner on Stupid O'Clock,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going, excuse me.
Yeah. Some people do it for money. Some people do it for ideologies, and those are the scarier ones, I guess.
And
We're
some
gonna
people do it
Yeah.
just because they're an asshole.
I was
there's
just
that
about
too.
to say that. Thank you, Richie.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, and some folks do it just for the laughs.
Mm-hmm.
Don't understand how they're getting a laugh out of being a pain in the butt, but
I was going to say, asshole.
yeah,
Yeah.
there are a lot of people out there counting coup on a lot of other folks, whether for good reasons or ill,
Mm-hmm.
and I
There-
have to admire the skill,
Mhm.
if not the direction it is taken.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they applied that to actually doing something useful. They'd make something of themselves, and they wouldn't have to be picking on other people.
some of them have already made something of themselves. It's just
They're bored.
why are you distracting yourself when you got some really serious stuff to do?
Yeah. There was an incident that Brian K. Morris had where someone had done a bunch of people wrong, and Brian had helped call them out on it. And for the longest time, that person came on and was always saying dislike to a show. Well, if you do that enough on YouTube, you put a dislike on it or whatever, you will not be offered that show again. So you had to go search for it. So he was like, well, I consider it a compliment. This person has to go searching for my show every day just to dislike it.
And technically, by YouTube's rules,
Mhm.
it still counts as engagement.
Yeah, it's an engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it proves you watched because you disliked it. So you watched.
Here's the thing. If I ever get to the point where someone is purposely trying to find what I'm putting out there to try to neg it in some way, shape, and or form,
Yeah.
I am going to take it as the highest form of compliment.
Yeah.
Because I am an asshole. And I'll be like, I'm pissing somebody off.
Mm-hmm.
You really,
Yeah.
My
If you
parents
that
didn't
job
make me
done
think.
right.
if you don't piss somebody off, then you're not doing anything. Okay. Because you but just by being here, you've got to piss somebody off, and if you're not doing that, you're not doing anything.
Please remind me tomorrow night when we're not being recorded to tell you the story.
Writing it down.
Oh, yeah, please do, because it's interesting and in another sense, it's very sad. But
This is a story about.
I don't think I should say about while we're being recorded.
It's a sad story. I'm supposed to tell you and remind you about. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's about someone needing to be added to a karma list.
No. Totally different story.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe I can get away with this.
Just make up a name so I can write it down. I can remind you tomorrow, and you'll go, Jeff, who?
Someone thinks I stole something from them.
Oh, okay. All right.
I may have told this one before, but
no. Oh, all right. No, we need to hear that one. So yeah, I'll remind you tomorrow about that.
Needless to say, I didn't. It was a case of convergent evolution.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, was it convergent evolution where, birds and pterodactyls both had wings, and so do most bugs? And why? They're not related.
No, not related at all.
No, but they all had to fly, so they developed wings.
Carl, I got one for you on that topic.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the original Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Remember when they were out in the Badlands looking for the raptor fossils?
Mm-hmm.
Remember what Grant said about the raptor and the pubic bone turned backwards?
Oh, yeah.
Just like a bird?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That actually was a factual statement.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing what can happen in evolution when, the environment's the same. But
Crichton did a lot of that shit.
I'm sorry?
Crichton did a lot of that shit. Sprinkling things into...
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That sounded like complete bullshit. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, I was just going on about how you can be in the same environment and different species will adapt differently to the environment to carve a niche, And it's kind of like creative people. We all have to carve a niche in what we're doing. And once you get that niche, it's yours.
Exactly. And I see where you're going here. It's like how dolphins and orca and whales resemble fish, but they're mammals instead of whatever the classification is for fish. I can't remember right now.
Something.
Ichthy something, yeah.
Yeah, because they were believed to have come on land and then said, "Oh, fuck this shit, we're going back to the sea."
And there was a thing. Somebody was trying to claim, and they put up very good evidence that whales are very, very closely related to bears,
I was about ready to say that.
Mhm.
but the whales decided, you know,
Yeah.
it's freaking cold up here. We're just gonna go back in the water where it's a little bit warmer.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And evolution proceeded as evolution does.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think the whale's fin, the bones in the fin, are
Mm.
very similar to the bones of a bear's claw. Was one of the things that they were looking at, and there was something else that they had seen, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, I can see that." You know,
Somewhere around the whale's, for want of a better word, pelvis, there are vesti- uh, vest- somebody say the word for me. I'm drunk.
vestigial.
Yes, remains of hind legs.
Yeah, and I'm drunk too, so that's pretty good. We got that together.
Mm.
I'm getting there.
Cooperation.
Getting there.
All right.
No, I probably would have been able to say that word if I hadn't needed the painkiller, because
Mm-hmm.
our blessed dawn made me laugh so hard I hurt myself.
Ow, ow. Yeah.
I'm not gonna blame her. It's not her fault. She just had about 5 really witty remarks in a row, and
Yeah.
I'd laughed so hard that I moved something in the wrong particular direction, and now my shoulder hurts really bad. My neck is not feeling much better.
Mm-hmm.
I got her with the animated tacos green screen comment.
What did Jesus just say? He didn't like the music in his ad. We'll see what the reaction is after Saturday. What's happening Saturday?
Oh, his next show. He does he does a show every other week.
That's right, every other week. And yeah, that's right. I missed it last time, so I've got off my schedule here. But that's something that I do. And I think I had said this at sometime or another. I did the show opening for Nick for Nevermind the Furthermore, and I told him, "Hey, here's a temporary. It's horrible. I kind of made it horrible on purpose. I didn't do a very good job, in my opinion, of it. He loved it, and he says other people love it, and I can't take it off now." I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this means do your best job, people, because somebody will like your half-assed job, and you'll be stuck with it.
And then if you try and replace it with a better job, they'll go, "Oh no, I like the original."
Yeah, I like the quirkiness of it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, seriously, you can't fault anybody for that.
No.
You've got to go, "Oh, bless you," and not in a bad way. Thank you. That's a sincere compliment. Kind of wish I'd done a little bit more with it, but too late now.
You want to say, if you like this, you'll really like when I really put my effort in.
If you like this, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah.
Wait till next week when Rocky and Bullwinkle pull a real rabbit out of that damn hat instead of a lion.
You ain't seen nothing yet. Hold my beer.
Yeah. I'm trying to do a new opening for Brian K. Morris's show.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and I've asked people to film themselves saying, "I had no warning."
I cannot figure out how to do that without looking like it was forced.
Even if it was forced, that's cool.
If it wasn't for my voice right now, I would give you a sample.
It needs spontaneity, and I'm not I'm not sure with my present circumstances. I'm not sure I can be spontaneous,
Mm,
and I don't mean that it's late at night and I've had a few beers and a couple of shots of whiskey, but no, I mean turning the camera on and knowing the line and reading the line as if I were a voice actor
yeah, yeah.
and a good one. I don't know. It's another one of those things that's an irrational fear that I'm going to have to overcome because there's there are a lot of people that have heard the recordings on YouTube and my Bandcamp to go, "Oh, you got to do more of this." And I'm
Mm-hmm.
going,
Yeah,
Yeah, that.
I'm kind of busy. I can't write another script right now, but the voice
yeah.
is easy too. So we'll, we'll
I
see.
like.
I'm not writing anything out. I'm not burning any bridges before I ever get near them.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
that that does take up an awful lot of time, and it does take up an awful lot of attention for editing when I've got several books to finish
Yeah, yeah.
and much more music to write. And I'm just beginning. I mean, it's going to be okay. Still Thursday. It's going to be this time next week before I am fully retired,
Mm-hmm.
and I have all the responsibilities that have been built up on me over the past few decades that I've got to take care of first. I mean, I can't go, oh, well, I'm going to do this just for fun
Mm-hmm.
when I've got stuff that people are depending on me to do.
Right. Yeah.
Now, after that, when I've got no day job left to concentrate on, yep, I can take a day or two and come up with something and take a week or two and record something and do editing on it and production to turn it into something.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll see what goes on. But um, if somebody's asking for a brand new story and something I thought was a one shot,
Mm-hmm.
it takes a little while before I can see my way clear to come up with, in the same writer's voice,
Mm-hmm.
a new story.
Yeah. You have to have an inspiration too to do that. Um,
Yeah, and that's what made
the,
the previous thing that everybody's raving about so easy because I had that inspiration, and several people gave me that inspiration,
mm-hmm.
and I took it and ran with it, but I procrastinated for almost a year or so. Um, Still,
Yeah.
the the creative process is one of those things of um, it goes between "don't touch me, I'm creating" and "I'm bored, I need something to do."
Mm-hmm. There was a discussion on another area that somebody had said something about. They were staring at the blank page,
Hmm.
staring at the blank screen, and the person was saying, well, you need to keep staring, and keep working and try to pour something out and all. I'm like, no,
Mm-mm.
you need
No.
to get out and experience your life, because what happens to me is I will be out doing something, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, look at that over there. That gives me an idea. And then I can go back and create something around that idea. But you don't just make stuff up just sitting there in front of the screen. You make stuff up after being inspired by things that happen to you.
Staring at the screen, trying to force something onto that blank page
Mm-hmm.
is like trying to give a pill to a cat.
Yeah.
You might get something out of it, but you're going to have a lot of battle scars afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to chase it into the next room, and it's going to call 911 on you. A whole big mess.
Yeah.
Still don't know
You're
who
just not
taught the
gonna
damn cat
feel
how to
good.
dial a phone.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Speaking of cats, Cap, I noticed that you had your cat there, and it was kind of like reaching up for your beard.
Oh yeah, Piercy, he loves to play with my beard. Right now, though, Piercy is struggling a little bit. I had to call my vet, and vet said I don't see anything wrong. I gave her the prognosis of he eats, and then literally within a minute he will throw it all back up.
Oh yeah, I've got a cat that does that.
So the vet did the test, checked his esophagus,
Mm-hmm.
the feeling of the esophagus, listened to all his vitals, but he's lost weight. He can't keep food down. So right now, I've got Piercy on a wet food diet, and that seems to be working. But even for 6 years old, just such a drastic change for no reason has had me concerned. So
There's
I was just coddling
there's
him, and
something in there. Yeah.
well, the vet checked everything with his throat and stomach and could not find anything.
Huh. I have a cat that like we call him the binge and purge cat. He'll eat the solid food and then eat too much and then throw up. And it's like, okay, but he doesn't do that with the soft food, and that's less. I give him less, so sometimes that works, it just, kind of like, okay, you're not getting as much as you usually get because you're pig.
Well, I'm sure the vet checked this, but I'm wondering about the other end of the digestive system.
Yeah, I mean, he stayed with her for 3 days, so
Okay.
it was a full head to toe or head to tail.
Yeah. Our cat Barry would do the same thing. He would scarf and barf. So we just gave him like 3 or 4 smaller meals throughout the day.
That's what I'm doing now.
And then
I've got him on wet food. But the problem is I have 2 cats.
Yeah.
So I have to take Piercy and isolate him in a room. Give
To
him
make
the wet
sure the
food,
other one doesn't.
let him stay in there for like a half hour or so. Make sure he eats what he wants, and then let him out. Or slam my Maine Coon, almost purebred Maine Coon. Hold on.
Yeah. It gets really tricky when you've got
multiples.
Yeah, one that'll eat anything at any time, and the other one has to be isolated to make sure that they get what they need.
Yeah. This guy will go in there and steal the wet food for Piercy. And
you sure that's a cat? It looks like a small bear.
Barry was really close to passing in November.
This guy's almost a purebred Maine Coon, so he is a very big kitty.
He ended up with the crystalline sludge in his bladder.
So that's
so the doc said if we waited a couple more hours, he wouldn't have made it. So we got him. He was in there for a couple days to get all that through. They gave us a Hills diet, urinary prescription diet thing that is $117 a bag. Thankfully, the bag's barely had a dent in it since November when he fell sick, and we've been feeding him every day, twice a day. But we're feeding him back to normal amounts we used to feed him. No issues whatsoever. So good. I'm wondering if there might be, again, it's price here, but like a Hill Science diet flavor, something that might help with the tummy issues. Because for a while we were trying like the sensitive stomach stuff and things like that for him, and it seemed to help for a little bit, and then he started having issues again. So
yeah, it's hard to tell with cats because sometimes it is a sickness and sometimes it's a behavior. They just
I'm wondering if that's what's going on with Piercy, or he's got some sort of tooth issue going on.
That could be too. Yes,
But
I
here,
never even thought about that.
Watch this, y'all. This guy, Slam. This guy was no bigger than my hand when I found this guy. So he is totally life entrusting. How many cats do you know will let you do this without fighting you?
Oh my gosh, no.
well, Barry would fuck me up.
Oh yeah. You probably shouldn't do that with your cat anyway, but yeah.
Oh, he's purring and look at him. He's just like, whatever.
Okay.
He's sitting here purring and everything.
Well, I had asked about
Daddy, you touched me.
Yeah, I was asking about the touching the beard because I've got one cat that lays down beside me sometimes, and he will knead on my chest while I pat his back, and then he'll do this on my beard, and so whenever he does that, I chuck his chin underneath it, and so now he knows. Oh, if I want my chin chucked, I'll just do Dad's beard. And so we have a code now. We've taught each other how to react. And so if he doesn't want his chin chucked, he won't touch my beard.
Oh, okay. Piercy will stick his nose all up in my beard and just be like,
yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Daddy, I like your Old Spice.
Well,
oh Lord. Yeah.
I like your Old Spice, but you need mine.
Yeah.
There's one of ours that normally stays outside, but Lindsay's been letting her in because it's freaking cold outside.
Oh yeah.
She will jump up on the back of the lazy boy and start messing with Lindsay's hair. Which is one of the things that my wife does not like anybody but me to do. So the cat, and I'm just sitting there going, well, she likes the way your hair smells. You've got a really good shampoo and whatnot. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But Violet, the cat, is just when Lindsay can't stand it anymore, Violet gets brought back here, and either the gate in the middle of the hallway gets shut or my door to my office gets shut, and I'm sitting here going, you're not wanting to make things easy for me, are you, honey?
Yeah.
It just seems the individual psychology of one particular cat is so different from another cat
Oh yeah.
that they develop these habits that
works.
Yeah. Yep. So, these things they happen. Nothing to see here. Move along. These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Anybody that tells you that pets don't have personalities, yeah, they're crazy because pets do have personalities. They each have their own quirks. They each have their own little foibles. They have their likes and dislikes, just like humans. And they'll show you. They'll teach you eventually.
I've had one idiot that tells me that pets don't have souls. I'm going, what fundamentalist have you been listening to?
Right.
I know. I know people that will say something like that. I'm like, okay, prove that you have a soul. And they'll just look at you like, okay, there you go, buddy. Yeah. Atomic Snack Bar said that the beard game is strong in this episode. He's right about that.
Look at bladed now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Beard
yes.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, thesis, but
Mhm.
as far as I know, the general opinion of the ladies that we know think you're cuddly. So,
Mm.
that's the thing.
I
And
normally just rock a Van Dyke or a Musketeer,
Mhm.
but with as sick as I was, I just didn't have the energy to shave. So
Mhm.
I'm like, screw it, we'll just trim it up a little bit and we'll go from
Mhm.
here for now.
Okay, there you go.
yeah,
See,
I announced that in Stupid O'Clock tonight, and I know I'm looking a little bit scruffy, so it's time to trim it down into a more of a Van Dyke or whatever, and and
Oh,
Rob,
people are
yeah,
gonna be pissed though.
they're we know so many people who rock various styles of beards.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
I mean, seriously, yours is impressive for just how well you keep it maintained.
Yeah, see, if I didn't have Donna, I would have a beard probably closer to Rich,
Hmm.
or just the Van Dyke. But my wife is a big fan of the band. She's got legs.
ZZ Top.
ZZ
ZZ
Top.
Top.
ZZ Top. And I was like, I don't want to look like ZZ Top because the only difference between ZZ Top and a homeless guy is ZZ Top has a guitar. Okay.
That spins.
and and some money, but yeah,
Lots of money.
yeah.
Um,
So when I go out, I try to dress fairly well so that people don't think, oh, look at that poor old homeless guy. No, I'm not homeless. I'm fine. But she loves this. She just loves this. And so
oh yeah, yeah.
just make her happy, whatever.
Believe it or not, there have been times since Lindsay and I got married that I have actually bared the chin.
Oh my.
My mother loves it. My wife goes, "You don't look right."
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Since marrying Misty, I've been clean shaven maybe 5 times. Most of them were accidents while sneezing or coughing while trying to trim things up. And it's like, I now have half a mustache.
Mm-hmm.
Well, clean shaven it is. You don't look
For me-
right. And then once was when my mom passed because my mom preferred me clean shaven. So for her service,
My mom,
I went clean
my
shaven.
mom tries to do that too. I was going for the ZZ Top look as well,
Mm-hmm.
but then when I couldn't grow out the sideburns, I kept the goatee.
Mm.
And remember when he had the gray stripes?
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Yeah, you got that.
Mine occurred naturally.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, this is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
The
Rob,
problem is, though, I sleep like this a lot. And
Mm.
so it has kind of
Mhm.
compressed
Yeah.
everything. So I need to get some oils and I'll start the process of pulling it back out where it actually looked like this.
Yeah. Yeah. You can do
See how it pulls back?
that. Wow.
Rob,
Yeah.
I do not believe that. No, it's obviously not a glue on. Believe me.
That's a strange thing. When you do anything, like we were talking about being hated, if you're not hated, you're not doing anything. Even if you do something, okay, and there will be somebody who will find fault with you just to piss you off, just to poke at you. And if the thing they do is pick on your facial hair instead of actually the topic that you're covering, they're obviously not paying attention to the right parts of the show,
Yeah.
Well,
Thesis.
if you've ever watched Rob's videos,
Mhm.
it's just he has this very trimmed,
Mhm.
elegant, short and easy to maintain beard,
Mhm. Mhm.
and he rocks it. I mean, totally rocks it, and I can see how probably drives all the little girls crazy, but
Mhm.
yeah.
It's always good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, yeah, that's a bonus right there.
Mhm.
Oh, Nick's here, um, listening while he's doing his drills before bed. Hope we don't make you miss anything, Nick.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll
I
probably
want
be having to fight with your backdrop again when you move just a little
Dan.
bit too far.
Dan, will you put thesis comment up there? The one talking about the
Psychiatrist
psychiatrist.
friend.
I want
Okay,
to touch
yeah.
on that. At the end there, it says if it's trimmed and shaped nicely, I'm doing good. If it's not, that's bad news. I
Mm,
don't exactly see the correlation in that because look, mine looks like shit. But at
um.
the same time, I know I'm in a good place with myself.
Mhm.
I'm not a mess. So I wanted to touch on that because I live with autism. I have Asperger's. So,
Mhm.
being somebody with a disability, with a beard that actually looks like a total mess right now, I just wanted to say, I don't see the correlation there. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Mhm.
I just want to say,
Yeah.
Well,
don't
and
let somebody structure you based on
Come here.
some attribute of your body. You be you. Leave it at that.
Yeah.
If you want to be dingy
mhm.
Mhm.
and all messed up in the facial hair, so what? But don't let it form a process in your mind and your intellect to say, "Oh,
Yeah.
well, I need to be crispy clean. I need to be straight." And you
Mhm.
know,
Oh,
don't let that consume you.
But it
my
could
my
also be a
mother.
warning sign if he looks in the mirror and goes, "Yeah, you know what? I have been feeling a little off lately." You know,
And I get that, but I'm saying don't let
Yeah.
somebody sit there and tell you
Oh yeah.
yeah,
if you look dingy, you're automatically bad news, bad place. I need to do something. That's
Well,
not always true.
the
yeah.
thing is, everybody has this self-image,
Mhm.
Hmm.
and if you, I don't want to say deviate from your self-image, but if you have had a habit of staying with this one particular style, and
Mhm.
then all of a sudden
There you go.
you're not following it up,
Mhm.
that's
Okay,
a good indication to the people that really care about you
Mhm.
that there may be a problem that you're either not willing to face or not willing to talk about or uh, don't even know about, but um,
he just clarified it too,
Yeah.
oh
so
yeah, yeah,
it makes more sense now.
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah. If
Um,
um, and as a former counselor, this is something that I've looked at too. I I've told some of my customers, my clients about this. Don't um, don't be judging yourself on stuff like this unless also notice the change in mood.
Oh,
If you
good
notice
God.
that, oh, I'm not feeling up to it right now, and now I can see how it has affected the way I look. Then
mhm.
okay, then maybe it's time to you can change your look a little bit, and then maybe you'll feel a little better. It's just a temporary thing, but it may be enough to help you get back on your track. Um, but yeah, I had the same thing. I would counsel people, and they would come in the first couple times. They'd be wearing way too much cologne or perfume, and as the counseling progressed, I would find that they wore less and less cologne and perfume because what they were doing is they were trying to make themselves feel better by smelling better. And as they felt better actually inside, they didn't need that crutch of too much cologne or too much perfume on them. And so they would taper it off as their ego built itself up from inside, So,
And Nick is as matter of pattern breaking, sudden changes.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If Cap suddenly showed up clean shaven, everybody who knew him would be able to tell something was up.
Yeah.
I will say, my father was a Marine, so he always was pretty much clean shaven. And my mom grew into that style, and she's always telling me, cut it off, cut it off, cut it off. And I'm like, no. So if it did actually happen, then yeah, that's pattern breaking. And I finally submitted and conceded to mom. Yeah, something's up if I'm conceding to my mom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. My mom hated goatees and Van Dykes, apparently just on me. But that was because of the beatnik movement in the 60s. She always saw the beatniks as unclean and stuff like that. However, shortly after I got married and got out of their house permanently, Dad started rocking the Van Dyke. And I'm like,
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
I'm like, you bitch about mine.
Yeah.
My father was the same way. He was really, he was really good about shaving everything. And I started growing the sideburns, and a couple years later, he started growing sideburns. And I just got the mutton chops, and he kind of got smallish mutton chops. He didn't go with the full thing like I did. Then I got the mustache, and eventually my dad grew a mustache. So I'm like, okay. He must
Well,
have.
Dad cycled between mustache, full beard, and clean shaven.
Yep.
And I even came down on some of the people in my office because they kept saying something about liking men that were clean shaven. I said, "Are you saying my beard's dirty?" And they're like, "No, oh my God, no, I didn't mean to say that exactly." Well, yeah, you did, and just stop it.
Yeah. Well, not having the spoons is one thing. And I don't really think I need to take that thought anything further, because everybody occasionally runs out of spoons.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who you are or what you're doing or what you look like or whatever. Everybody eventually runs short of spoons, and you're left with a little plastic spork.
You got a Taco Bell.
Yeah. And saved for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got one in one of my drawers here somewhere.
I even
Still
had
in the
that.
plastic wrap. It's not like I used it and saved it.
I'm one of these people.
I'm not that much of a pack rat.
I've never had a real problem with depression or anything. Okay, but just recently, I had sinus infection or whatever, and coming out of that, I was having problems. It was an existential type of thing, Why do we do this? Why do we do that? What's the use of anything? And what legacy am I leaving? And as soon as I got that spy novel done, it lifted. It was just amazing having got that project off of my plate. How much that lifted that fog off of me.
Yeah, really, you got a spoon delivery. Amazon brought a truck by and dumped a whole bunch of them off in the yard.
Yeah.
No, this is exactly right. Fun fact: when as a kid saw W. Gillis and reruns, thought Bob Denver as a beatnik was just the coolest, and said one day I'd have that facial hair. Yes, exactly. And you rock it, and don't let anybody ever tell you anything different.
When Dan was talking about his facial hair, I hopped over to his channel to take a look real quick, and as soon as I saw him, I'm like, why does that make me think of Maynard Gribbs?
There you go.
Exactly.
Now you know.
Now
I'll give you a better person who my beard reflects now. Scott Ian of Anthrax.
Oh, okay.
hey,
If you look him up, you'll see right here.
Mhm.
That's exactly what he has. Is right here.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I'm
my-
going for that Laurence Olivier. I think it was Laurence Olivier in Clash of the Titans when he played Zeus.
mhm.
I want.
Now, my publisher will come to conventions, and I keep calling it his dwarf beard, but basically it's just like Cap's, a little bit longer,
Mhm.
but he braids it and puts beads on it.
Oh
Oh, the full Viking plate thing. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I tried that
Rocks the hell out of
once.
it. Yeah, I couldn't do it, but
no!
I can't pull it off.
Donna
I
wants me.
think it's awesome. I can't do that.
Donna wants me to do it. She wants me to put beads in my beard, and I said no.
uh-uh.
Can you imagine what the cats would do if I had beads in my beard?
I don't even want to imagine that.
I'm not even gonna say, and I won't even say it in the green room. What just crossed my mind as a opposed to that particular request, but no.
Yeah. No.
There are some things I don't want anybody to know that I think.
Yeah.
Nick. Yes. When you're having to wear a CPAP, you've got no choice. You've got to make something. You got to make sure that the mask actually has a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Otherwise, your health is
I
in
just
danger.
loosened the straps on mine.
Yeah.
I think somebody
reason
loosened your
why-
straps several years ago.
Oh, ouchie.
Another reason why I also kept my beard the way it is because for Halloween,
Mm.
there you go, Dan.
Oh, okay.
It plays right into the operator outfit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Now
can
I'll
see
zoom this
that.
out just a little bit, and you get the idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't think I'd be
this
walking
is no
anywhere
rules.
near you in that outfit if I was in a parking lot
This is the no
anywhere.
rules channel, isn't it? This is the more no rules channel, isn't it?
It's nobody cares, nobody's watching anyway channel.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I also keep the beard, because it plays right into that Navy SEAL recon where they're allowed to have beards to blend into the
Oh, yeah.
indigenous population.
Sure.
That's another reason. Shut up, Dan. I don't want to hear it.
No. I was reading Nick's comment, Faces' comment, and Rob's comment. So
Oh.
I've got to do this. Just hang on, folks. Rasputin from Hellboy. Yeah, well, that's not too far off. And Faces is go. Oh, yeah, Zeus and Odin in here.
Mhm.
And we're crossing the streams, Carl.
Yes. Yeah.
And old Dan.
A reverse
Zeus,
Faudier.
Odin, and old Dan.
No. I think he
Beads.
was
Oh, with
referring
the
to me
beads.
as Odin.
With the beads. Okay, I get it now. Okay, with the beads in the beard. Yeah. That would be.
Yeah.
I could run
And-
down the beach and shake my beads and yeah, sure.
Yeah, and Nick, that's one of those things where you got to pay attention to that. Otherwise, you are not going to be in good health, and we'd rather that you were,
Yeah,
because
for sure.
Yeah.
we have lots of things that we want you to be able to not only finish but conceive of and do that you don't even have the faintest idea right now, but you will later on.
Nick,
Or will you?
it's not.
No, that I could tell. That is not airsoft.
Mhm.
That was the real deal, which is why he was asking if it was safe to show a feat of very, very good engineering.
A pew pew.
Well, thank you. Thank
Get
you.
snack bar down here.
It was funny because
Oh man.
we went on our honeymoon, and Donna said, "Have you ever thought about growing a beard?"
Oh Jesus.
And I said, "Yeah, I was
Yeah,
actually."
Nick. But that's why I was asking in the first place.
Well, because of my job, I was not sure. I wanted to get in good with my job first before I started growing beards. And she says, just think about it. And I'm like, okay, I'll stop shaving during the honeymoon.
Yeah,
Within a
Nick,
week-
you're right. I missed the point.
Within a week, I had a beard like Rich. Within that first week, that was when I was younger and my hair grew fast. I was like, and she's like, "Oh my God, that's gorgeous," because it was all black then,
Oh, my mom actually hates my beard,
Mm.
but she has come to believe, for some strange reason, that I was actually born with a pair of glasses and a mustache.
Mm.
And when she said that first time, I said, "Well, that must have tickled quite a bit, Mom."
Yeah.
Going down that route, the few couple of friends that I have, they love it.
Old age and treachery always triumphs youth and exuberance. Yes, the same way that natural stupidity can always defeat artificial intelligence.
Yeah. Oh,
this one friend that I have, she'll come over and she always tells me, tickle me. And she's asking me to go behind her neck and do this.
Oh, okay. Oh, she's got a particular kink. All right.
That's a very specific request right there.
Yeah. You don't find that everywhere.
Thesis has a point there.
Yep. Aren't
Yeah.
moms? Hey, it depends on whether daddy or husband or granddaddy had a beard when they were growing up. Treacherous villains are proactive. You have no idea.
The other night, Nick had
says the super villain that won't commit. Yeah.
Yeah. The other night, Nick had said something like that I had Rasputin vibes. And I was like, yeah. But Rasputin, as played by the Master in that latest Doctor Who, when he's doing that dance. Actually,
Tom Baker did a very good version too.
Oh yes, I saw that. He was good. Yeah.
Oh, it's weird. Tom Baker was a villain in one of the
the
Sinbad movies, and so was Second Doctor.
Patrick Troughton.
Patrick Troughton. Thank you.
Yes,
I was blanking out there.
Yes, he was. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Not a lot of people know. Of course, Carolyn Monroe. That's why everybody forgets about everybody else in the movie.
Peter Capaldi, when he played Cardinal Richelieu in the Three Musketeers, it was a short TV series, and he was fantastically evil as Richelieu. And so when they announced he was going to play Doctor Who, I was like, "Oh yes, please," because he was that Richelieu. I thought, yeah, I need to see this.
And then, funny enough, in World War Z, Capaldi was a doctor for the WHO,
Oh.
the World Health Organization.
Yeah.
Wait, who was?
Capaldi, the 12th
Peter
Doctor.
Capaldi,
Mhm.
12th Doctor,
Yeah, that's
Doctor
right.
Who, yeah.
He was a doctor from Who years before he was Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, he was also someone in a Torchwood episode that was not exactly a nice guy.
Oh, I don't
That
remember that one.
that's one of the ones I don't watch because it's very disturbing.
Okay.
Now
He was also the father of a family of Romans in a one of the first David Tennant
Mhm.
Donna
Yep.
Noble
The
Kevin
Vasily-
Down,
Fires of Pompeii.
Yes.
Pompeii, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oddly enough, also had Karen Gilliam, who later became a companion of the Doctor, as one of the priestesses in the
Mm-hmm.
One of the visionary priestesses,
Yeah.
yes.
yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And Nick is exactly right. Although I've got to say here, Christopher Lee, that's perfectly valid. Rob, I will not debate that at all. Nick says, to be a good doctor, you must first be able to play a villain. That is, I can't deny that either.
Yeah.
Um,
Even the child face
Matt Smith.
Matt Smith, yeah. I didn't realize that he was in he was the villain in one of the Ant-Man movies.
It was Morbius.
He was the villain in Morbius. Yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
Morbius? Oh yeah, well
Yeah.
that too, but I think he was in one of the others. And I thought it was Ant-Man, maybe it wasn't. It was in another Marvel type movie, and he was the villain, and I was like, or maybe it was
really well.
No, I'm sorry. It was one of the Terminator movies, I think.
Yes, I was about to say he was actually in one of the Terminator movies, but
and I was like, who is that guy? I know that voice.
Who is this?
that guy? And I'm like, I could not put together this sweet little Matt Smith doctor with this villain. I'm like, oh my gosh. So he
the BBC has only about 50 actors. Actually, they only have about 10, and 3 filming locations. Well, 2 of those are quarries.
I was just going to say that, Dan. Thank you. Yeah. 2 of them are quarries.
And yes, totally agreed. Eccleston was wasted in Thor 2. The script was not written well enough to take advantage of his talents. And the makeup, I could see why it was necessary for the particular mythology they were using, but no, Eccleston could have done so much more with that particular part.
He did
I think most roles Eccleston is in, his talent is way beyond the scripts that he's getting. I mean, the others, he deserved a much more, much better part than the others. He was kind of wasted and gone in 60 seconds. I mean, I don't think they really ever gave him his due.
I
in U.S. movies, at least.
He had the same problem in Heroes. Save the Cheerleader, Save the World. Did you see that series? Okay. If you didn't,
I know of it, but I didn't get a chance to watch it because I think Lindsay had already turned off our satellite dish by then.
Okay. Well, he had a part in that where they had superpowers, and he was just like, I don't want to have anything to do with the villains. I don't want to have anything to do with the good guys. Just leave me the hell alone and let me live in peace. And sadly, that kind of put him in a bad situation because he couldn't really continue on. They couldn't keep him in too many because he was a non-player. He wasn't picking a side. So they really couldn't do anything with him, and they finally just wrote him out. And I thought that was a shame because Eccleston was doing a great job. But
Yep. Oh, and Rob's got a question for us. Which favorite? Who is our favorite Doctor Who? Basically.
Wow.
I was going to say, is he asking who our favorite Doctor is and who is it, or who our favorite Doctor Who is?
Doctor Who, yes. I speak shorthand, so okay, I'll tackle that first.
Okay.
My original favorite, even though Tom Baker was the first Doctor I ever saw in the part, after I had gone back and saw everything that still survives, Patrick Troughton was my favorite for years and years and years. And then when the TV movie came out, I go, oh, Paul McGann has nailed this. New favorite. And then during New Who, I kind of I definitely love everybody, but when the War Doctor came up, I'm going, oh, this is the man who could not win under any circumstances and said, no more. Yeah, that was it so far for me. Yeah. Although I will not say anything bad about any of the actors in any incarnation. I really, really liked Jodie's performances, although she was not well served by
she was given
script.
shit scripts.
Yeah.
Well, what about you other guys? Who do you like the most?
I'm going to go ahead and say I have not gotten into Doctor Who very much, so I'm claiming exemption.
Okay. Rich?
Sure.
All right. Tied for my favorite Who is going to be one from classic, one from new, and that is Tom Baker and David Tennant. They're my two favorites. John Pertwee is just barely in second place. Colin Baker is my least favorite. I just could not get into him. And because of me not being able to get into him, I missed 99% of Sylvester McCoy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Colin Baker was not well served by the scripts at that time either.
Exactly. Okay. I'm going to say, first of all, Tom Baker. Okay. Got the hat. Ow, ow, ow. I got a claw in my leg. Quit that. Sorry. Tom Baker.
I thought Donna went to bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you think that would.
He moved. That's why.
Yeah.
The cat's mad now because he moved.
Yeah. I moved and the cat thought, oh, you're going to bed? No. Okay. Claw in the leg. So Tom Baker first. And then oddly enough, I did like Sylvester. I like Sylvester, but no, I liked Colin Baker as well because he had said in an interview earlier before he took the place of the Doctor, he says, I want to play the Doctor more alien because he is an alien. He's not from Earth. He wouldn't act the same. And so when I finally got to meet the guy at a con, we were taking our stuff up to get signed, and I just said, you're one of my favorite Doctors because I read that interview where you said that, and I think you achieved your goal. And Colin stood up, made everybody else back away while he stood up and shook my hand and said, thank you very much. You've made my day. And I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not worthy, dude. So I've got the tie between the Baker boys.
There was a series a very, very limited series called The Stranger
Yeah.
that Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant were in.
Oh, yeah.
And after Colin got unfairly shit canned, these
Mm-hmm.
came out and let you know what could have been
Mm-hmm.
if they'd given him more time. He
Mm-hmm.
wasn't playing the Doctor, but it was very, very close.
Mm-hmm.
And Nicola was not playing Fury, but it was very, very close.
Mm-hmm.
And that was good scripts right there. There's another thing called the Airzone Solution, where a bunch of former Doctor Who's got to play all kinds of roles that they would not have been
Mm-hmm.
written for as the Doctor. That's another really good one.
Yeah. I've only seen part of that. I want to see the rest of it. But I
We
saw
can
it.
arrange that. I thought I already did arrange that.
Oh, maybe. I'll have to look. Cool.
Okay, and Nick says Matt Smith was to me one of the most dark and even problematic. Yes, he did have that
Mhm.
that edge, that the clowning disguised. But when
Mhm.
the scripts were right, he could do just about anything. And
Yeah, it all culminated at Stonehenge.
Mm-hmm.
He was standing up there and said, "Just think, and let someone else try first." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, okay."
Yeah. Baker and classic Eccleston felt like Tom Baker with PTSD, which was very, very close. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
War Doctor, yes.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
I can't fault any of that. And the reason Peter
Harrison was 5.
Davison isn't up there, but because he is Albert Campion, even as the Doctor. And even though he did his Doctor before he played Albert Campion. I
Yeah.
cannot. Once I saw Campion Mysteries,
And he was also in All Creatures Great and Small.
yes,
Mhm.
indeed,
Yeah.
yes, indeed. But Campion just kind of eclipsed a lot of the other stuff that Davison did because it was so natural for him,
Mhm.
or it felt like it was when you were watching the performance.
Yeah. And it's too
Um,
bad they don't show those Campions again somewhere. I mean,
someone you know has them.
okay, we'll work on that next year.
I just don't know if they're on the portable drive.
Okay.
Roll the Doctor must be kept separate to an extent from the role. I think you might have been meaning from the actor or from previous roles. And
Oh yeah.
Peter Cushing does need an honorable mention because, my God, Peter Cushing, uh, those were okay. Bear with me. As far as I know, as far as I've heard from other Doctor Who fans, Peter Cushing is the Doctor from a universe where people knew the Doctor existed, so they made a couple of movies about him. And Peter Cushing was kindly asked to
Mm,
provide his interpretation, and it works.
Cushing is good. Cushing is good. I don't know. I think it may have suffered a little bit from him. I don't think he ever really saw too many of the Doctor Who programs before he did it, and so he didn't have a template to work on. So he just had here's the script, you figure it out, and he did a good job figuring it out.
hmm
But he didn't
I
have it.
think the case was that he had seen
Oh,
several,
okay,
at least the first three, and
okay,
he was doing his best to adhere to William Hartnell but he
Yeah.
also brought in elements of Troughton as well as John Pertwee. And the thing is, thankfully, when those movies were made, Tom Baker had not cemented himself as the iconic Doctor in everybody's mind.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. As I said, that's one of those things where the fandom has decided the headcanon is Peter Cushing's Doctor is the Hollywood version of an urban legend.
Okay.
And it works on that basis. And it doesn't detract anything from anybody's performance.
Oh no, he did a great job in the performance. I will not, if anything, the script was at fault on that. In making him a human and making him, this or that or whatever, that kind of separated from the canon a little bit, which was what pissed most people off. That's not right. And so
they did write the scripts as if he was a human being that invented the TARDIS himself instead of a Time Lord.
Yeah.
And people had to adjust to that idea.
Yeah.
Problem with the Stonehenge episode is too much of a callback to his first episode. Smith leaned heavily on the Doctor's reputation as a threat, as a trope. This is entirely true as well.
Capaldi leaned a lot into that too. The one episode where, look up in your death index, the Doctor. We all have entries under cause of death. And then all the guys' troops starts leaving. And he's like, yeah, I hear my mom calling.
Yeah.
Really. Under cause of death ain't one.
And that even happened before Matt, though, because in a couple of the Tenet episodes.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
When
he had to say, look, I'm the Doctor. I used to give chances. I don't give chances anymore.
Or
get out, or
we're in the universe's biggest library. I'm the Doctor. Look me up.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that Baker and Tennant are tied for my top favorites is they had the ability to flip the switch from whimsy to psychopath, which is so the heart of the Doctor, like that. Other people kind of had to lean into it a little bit. One of my favorite bits was the Tennant's second Christmas special with the Arachnos, where the runaway bride, where he was the first time.
Yeah,
and he's down in those tunnels underneath, and it's just he's just being completely whimsical and goofy, like he's prone to do, and then she continues to threaten the Earth, and he just flips the switch to psychopath, and pulls out the remote thing. And where did you get that? Pockets? What? They're bigger on the inside. But it just how wonderfully done that is.
Oh yeah, when he's standing there and soaking wet, that look on his face.
Yeah. That wasn't a switch being thrown. That was a circuit breaker popping.
Yeah.
That was his defining "I'm the Doctor" moment. Each of them had it, except Jodie. Jodie didn't get one, and I don't like that. Jodie got screwed out of one. Matt Smith had his in The Beast Below, where just he looked up, and for such a young face to have such a old, wearied, I've seen too much shit expression. He was one of the ones that able to pull off his Doctor moment without uttering a word. It was just a look. But my favorite bit of Who trivia is David Tennant's wife is the daughter of the 5th Doctor, who he met on set playing the daughter of the 10th Doctor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's a mind screw right there.
Oh, at a
And,
convention. At a
Davison
convention
was Tennant's
later.
favorite.
At a convention later, Peter Davison was asked, "What is the best present that you ever got from a Doctor Who fan?" And he just looked straight at him and said, "Grandchildren."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, and I guess they were asking their children who their favorite Doctor is. And, of course, they were hoping one of them would say Granddad. It's like, no, Dad.
Oh,
And there's a story. There's a story that Peter Davison will tell about. Is it Peter Davison or was it? I think it's Peter Davison talking about how him and David will go out walking their dogs together sometimes in the dog park, and they're sitting there in the hat and the glasses and with the dogs and stuff like that, so that nobody will recognize them. But of course, everyone recognizes them. They just look weird because they're wearing a hat and glasses and stuff like that.
If you haven't seen, I think it's called the Five-ish Doctors.
yes.
Where the older doctors are trying to get into the particular anniversary episode and be a part of that. It's hilarious. It is. Yeah. And it's not a canon. It's not part of Doctor Who, but it is. I mean, it is.
For fans, it's canon. For the show, maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cap.
I have a question. Sorry, I'm being a sarcastic little kid at the moment.
Sorry.
I have a question for y'all
Mm-hmm.
and for the chat too. What's the most memorable moment you met an actor? And I'll go last.
Good or bad?
I mean, describe the actor and where you met them.
Okay, I think my meeting with Colin Baker was one of my best. I also met Sylvester McCoy, but that was before he was actually playing the Doctor. He had been announced, but he wasn't. So I didn't have any smart question to ask him. So I'd say, yeah, when I met Colin Baker.
Okay, it doesn't have to be Doctor Who. Any actor.
Still.
Your most memorable moment when you met an actor.
Okay. I've got one that might classify as that. We were in a convention, okay, and it was mostly Babylon 5, but they had a few Star Trek people in there. And we're walking along, and we're like, "Come on, we got to get to the next room." And there were these two, what I considered young girls in front of us. I thought they were teenagers. You know, they were short. Now they're walking along, and I'm like, "Oh, come on!" And my friend's like, "Oh, that one's cute. Take a picture of her butt." I'm like, "No, I'm not going to do that. Those are kids. You know, just move along." Got in the thing. Got in there in time. They roll out the stars. The gal we were following was 7 of 9, Jerry Ryan.
Nice.
I could have gotten a shot if I'd listened to my friend of Jerry Ryan's butt, but no, I was a good boy.
Yeah. Rich?
All right, my most memorable bad, Lou Ferrigno. I was at a Gen Con. It was after the con had closed for the day. We were at a local bar called the Safe House, my favorite bar in the entire world. And my best friend and I are sitting there, and suddenly we are thrust a good 3 foot forward and almost fell down, and our backs are now just covered in liquid. Lou Ferrigno bumped into us. Now, I'm 6'4", and at that time, 500 pounds. My best friend, a couple inches shorter than me, about 5'11", and he's rocking probably 350 at that point in time. Both of us were thrown several feet forward because Ferrigno was drunk off his ass and almost knocked us down. He tripped and fell into us. Did not apologize. Now, as buff of a dude as Ferrigno is, moving two people our size should be something you remember. For most people, it's like running into a brick wall. So that was worst, most memorable moment meeting an actor. Best would be Don S. Davies from Stargate SG-1. Again, Gen Con, although this is now Gen Con after it moved to Indianapolis. And I'm sitting there overlooking the sword table, about ready to buy some swords. And all of a sudden I hear this Texas drawl behind me. You looking to buy yourself one of them there big knives? So I actually just kind of moved to the side to let whoever was behind me in to look at the table as well. It was Don S. Davies. Saw him, thanked him, told him, how much I appreciated his work and stuff like that, because, his work as General Hammond, I loved on that show, and he was just pleasant as pie. Walking by the Stargate SG-1 table 2 days later, and all of a sudden he's like, "Hey, you're from the big knife table the other day." Called me over because he had no one in line in front of him. Me and my best friend sat there and bullshit with him for about a good 15, 20 minutes where he's just talking about everything under the sun, just like we're old drinking buddies.
Cool. I can believe it. Mine doesn't count. I have only met voice actors. I have never met an actual television or movie or whatever actor. I would have to say, and this was entirely memorable, is the first time I ever got to go up and talk with the people from the Atlanta Radio Theater Company. And just so happens that their producer is somebody that introduced me to not only early Doctor Who I had not been able to see before, but Blake Seven. So those folks have my utmost respect because, yes, I have just made a foray into voice acting here in the last 2 weeks, and I'm going to go, no, these folks deserve every respect I can give to them because they put on a hell of a show, and you don't even have to see them. Just the voices.
Yeah.
I got to agree with Nicholas then. They do count.
Oh, well, thank you, both of you. Like I said, I don't usually attend the kind of con that a video, a visual medium actor goes to, but I've been to several that voice actors attend, and I'm just highest respect. They do so much with the imagination of the listener.
Well, and they have to do a solo with one instrument, and that's their voice. So yeah, it would be tough.
Well, some people, their voice is more than just one instrument; it's an entire orchestra. But you both have also met Sean Hatfield.
This is true. Yes, we have.
All right, so mine was, I was 10, 12, maybe. Christopher Reeves, before his accident.
Oh, okay, yeah.
At the British National Transportation Museum with his family. My dad's over there jabbing me in the shoulder. Like, look. I'm like, Dad, I'm driving a train. Leave me alone. I was on the little subway simulator, and he's over there punching me in the shoulder. So finally he grabs my head and just goes, yoink. I'm like, oh, Christopher Reeves, white kids right there, 20 feet from me. So he guides me over there and he says, look, okay, don't be a burden. Just say, hello, are you Mr. Reeves? It just went on from there. I was like, hello, Mr. Reeves. He turns around, smile on his face. I'm sitting there grinning like a total idiot.
Yeah.
And so it's just simple. Hi, I love your movies with Superman. I love the work that you do. It's glad to see you. Hope you have a nice day. And then
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he literally stuck his hand out. Hey, thank you. It's actually nice to be, somebody that's
Oh, yeah.
not gonna blast me with all this. And then my father looked down and says, see, I told you. Reeves looks up at my father and he says, you got the stature and the composure of a military man and the way you're guiding your son. My dad says, yes, I was a Marine in Vietnam. So, and then Reeves says, hey, you got your son doing just right. Thank you for that. And then we said, hey, nice to meet you. Have a wonderful day, and let him go.
Yeah. If you're not a jerk to people, or you don't try to monopolize them or be their instant friend, they, you got to realize that you've seen them hundreds of times. They see you once. Okay. And I've got to hand it to Grace Lee Whitney, who played on Star Trek, and Scotty, James Doohan. We met them both at I think it was different conventions. Grace was just a lady. She's just a fine lady. Jimmy Doohan was like, we said, can we take your picture? And he says, yes, as long as you just let me do my job. And we're like, cool. Because he was there to sign, like.
Chat bar. Let's let them answer.
I have got to skip a couple, but this one is priceless.
I was gonna say, that's hilarious.
Normal-sized dude. And yes, Nick, I do believe so. It's just it seemed like it was a parenthetical thing to the equation of what the question was being asked, and Thesis missed out on meeting Jackie Chan by about 2 hours.
That was the best scene. That was the best scene. Ooh, he did.
Oh yeah. Now, sorry about the previous comments that I've really I hated to skip, but it would have taken a minute or two to get here, and we've only got about 15 minutes left. So.
Oh wow!
I like Atomic's comment for Rich. So Hulk smashed.
He was smashed, all right.
Hulk was smashed. That's the
problem. Yeah.
Honorable mention, once again at the Safe House. So me and my buddy Jim were at the back bar talking to one of the bartenders that we would go up several times a year to the Safe House and just BS with the staff and hang out and stuff like that. So the staff knew us. So we were just back there hanging out. And waitress comes back to tell the back bartender that, Anthony Daniels was coming in and was going to be seated in the area and stuff like that. So we're like, oh, hey, cool, yeah. Anthony Daniels walks up to this table for two that are inside this little iron grate because it looks almost like a jail cell. But the reason he's there is there's a signed picture of Mark Hamill hanging in that little cubicle. So we made some small chat with them, walked away. We're like, all right, cool. Then he gets seated in a section that's right by us where they can actually see us and we can see him. Mm-hmm. So we look, we smile, and then we just go back to our conversation. After their meal, he walks over, and at that back bar, there's a ramp that goes down, and there's a wall that slides where they can wheel stuff between the front restaurant, which is a front, and the back restaurant, which is the Spy Bar. But so I'm at the bottom of that ramp, and he's looking at me, and he's like, "I need you to stand over there." So the other side of the bottom of the ramp. So I do that. He's like, "All right, now come up here." So I walk up next to him. He's like, "Just what I thought. You're weighing that entire side of the floor down." I'm like, I just got dissed by C-3PO.
Oh, that's priceless. That's absolutely priceless.
Yeah.
Oh. Now, I've met a lot of writers,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't think of a single one that I didn't get along well with, including some of the ones that I've heard later from other people did not have a good reputation as being an approachable person.
Yeah.
And I'm going, well, maybe you didn't go about it the right way. I mean, and Carl, you and I know this.
Mm-hmm.
We've been on the autograph table before,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and even though we are not in one of the upper tiers,
Right. Yeah.
the folks that are generally appreciate the people that buy their books.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And that they will go out of their way to be nice,
Mm-hmm.
except sometimes everybody has a bad day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sure.
And fortunately, I've never met anybody on a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
Although I have seen Jerry Purnell get really irate because the line for Larry Niven was 3 blocks long, and the line for his autographs were, 150 people.
Yeah, a little professional jealousy every once in a while throws it in
Well,
there.
no, it's like Jerry. They have an equal but different career.
Mm-hmm.
They have an equal but different fan base.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the fact that more of Larry's fans attended that particular convention.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Because Purnell really was more famous, I think.
Yeah, and for several different things. Not only the fiction, but for the column that he did in one of the computer magazines. Was it Byte or I can't remember the name of the magazine right now. I was gifted with several hundred back issues.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've got to say, first sci-fi convention I attended, not comic convention, but sci-fi. I got there, checked in, got my badge, walked out to the swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
Larry and Jerry were in the swimming pool, and I racked my brains for, okay, what can I say that will not make me look like an idiot?
There's nothing. I mean, if you have to ask that question.
Well, I did have a snappy line.
Uh-huh.
It included a word that I'd only ever read before, but had never heard anybody pronounce.
Okay. Okay.
Jerry corrected my pronunciation, but not in a bad way.
Right.
He was very avuncular about it.
Mm-hmm.
It made me feel like, oh, okay. And then I said, well, I'm sorry. I've never heard anybody say the word before. I've just read it. So I mispronounced it. And he goes, no problem. Everybody does that.
Mhm.
And it's just made my entire day. And that was the first ever convention I'd gone to 5 minutes after I'd checked in.
Uh-huh.
And got to
No,
talk
I
with, got to
think
talk with both of them a few times,
Mhm.
and not necessarily in the autograph lines, but different story. Larry was walking to go to, I think it was the banquet,
Mhm.
and I'd been there for a couple of days, and it was a convention, so I was not at my peak performance. And I walked up trying to think of something I could say beyond, hey, I bought everything that you've ever written up to this point. Thank you. And I go, ah, sorry, Larry. I'm too drunk to have this conversation at this time. Hope you'll forgive me. And Larry goes, don't worry. I intend to be that way later.
Yeah.
I mean, those two guys
Mhm.
have been an inspiration. Not necessarily to my writing, because that would be look at what they've done and I look at what I've done and I'm going, I'm in a whole different direction. So there's no competition possible.
Right. But
But
it's
I can appreciate
inspirational, you know.
good writing when I read it.
Yeah. Well, and you take in some of that yourself. You like,
Oh yeah, you're always learning stuff. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I like the way that they handle a character. I like the way they handle dialogue, and you internalize that somehow as an inspiration, even if you don't use those same words, even if you don't use those same characters. They do influence the way you do things.
And that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I had to go ahead and tell you that when your Somerton Man novel came out,
Mhm.
I bought a copy naturally, sat there, going through it, and I'm going, it's
Jesus.
late at night. I probably won't have time to read the entire thing today. And then by the time I was about 8 to 10 pages in, I knew I was not going to bed early that night. I read the entire thing from start to finish in one sitting,
Wow.
and
Okay.
I go,
So technically, it's a
okay.
short story.
Technically, yeah, but then for me, so is Dune. Um,
Yeah.
Still, I mean, I had to tell Carl how much I appreciated it, how much I liked it, how much I enjoyed it, and Carl's going, "Oh, well," um, and
Thank you.
I'm going, "Dude, I don't give this kind of praise to anybody."
I take it as a high compliment, so I appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad.
You know, you try to in any endeavor you do in life, you try to get to that point where you're like, I think I've done something that people can respect at this point. You know,
Hmm.
and that was that, and the other books that I've recently done. You know, the last since I've retired, I think those are pinnacles, and so there you go. You know, you
And this is
reached it. You know, but
a point where I shame Richie.
uh-huh. Uh-oh.
You owe me a story.
I owe you a few.
I want to read Hell Opened Up and Spat Out a Hero, because you will have a totally different take on that narrative hook than I will ever have. And after having known you for this long, you owe me 5 stories. Yeah,
I have 5 takes on that narrative hook. I also owe you. I hate to kill a man for bad manners, so I was glad when he took a shot at me.
mhm.
Okay.
You see, the thing is, back during the early days of Aphelion, I would come up with these narrative hooks,
Hmm.
and
Actually, I have a copy of the list on my hard drive.
I posted these things to inspire other writers, and I have had several of them take me up on it.
Hey,
And they
Dan,
turned what?
5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So,
I was just saying, usually you cut it off at 2 hours. I was just reminding you.
Well,
no, you haven't seen me and Thesis together for a while.
Oh, shit.
2 hours. He cuts it off at 2 hours because
Or me and Dan.
I complained because I had to watch it the next day, and I'm here tonight, so yeah, whatever. Nick in the chat with yeah, there you go. Rick.
I think I've just always known that you guys cut it off at 2 hours, so I'm seeing that 155.
Oh
up there.
no. Actually,
It'll be Donna's turn to be like 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. I'll say you have to watch every bit because we mentioned you at one point. And I just did. Oh, there you go. So, and Rich, I know you have the talent to do it because the werewolf story.
oh,
Thank you.
that's going to be a well-researched and absolutely in-depth.
Well,
And I better stop there before I make him blush.
the one he posted about the guy that was hired to find the werewolf.
Werewolf hunter.
I thought, oh yes, okay, yeah, he's got the talent. He can do it. So
Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna say good night, guys, because it's about my time.
okay.
Yeah,
So-
I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Just because the bedtime story goes on for like 3 minutes, if not longer. Thank you very much for being with me tonight, folks. I thought without you three, this is going to be, hey, I'm Dan. Good night.
Right.
Well, and you had a great chat tonight too. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you guys.
Yes.
And Carl, you
yeah,
also like my nightcap story about the vampires.
Yes.
To be continued.
Nick, Thesis, Rob, thank you for being in the audience tonight. We couldn't have done it without you. You made valuable contributions,
Mm-hmm.
and I definitely appreciate every minute I get to spend with all of you. So we will do this again Saturday nights. But as for tomorrow, I've got to get up early and take the dog to the vet
Oh, okay.
for her checkup
Okay.
and to renew some of her shots.
I've got cats crying now, so I gotta go too. So
Okay. Well,
Good night, y'all.
Good night. Thank you. Thank you ever so much. And everybody that's going to watch this later, thank you ever so much. I appreciate every view. I appreciate every comment. I appreciate everybody that shows up to be in the show. Without you, I couldn't do it. So, on that note, as Jimmy Carter was once projected to say during the occasion of a sudden nuclear war, thank you very much, everybody. Good night.
No. Take a
Transmission overload.
System will shut down. System will shut down.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down.